Jing. I'm really happy to have you today with me. You're the CEO of Duet, and could you tell us a bit about you and your business?
Yeah, sure. Thanks for having me here. Again, CEO of Duet. So I'm actually sitting in sunny California. I'm in the heart of the Silicon Valley, or in the San Francisco Bay Area in California. And we are a software company, like a lot of other startups in the valley. We develop software solutions to support transportation providers. So those are the folks who own vehicles, hire drivers, and provide the transportation services to individuals like you and me.
Yeah,
We help them improve their productivity.
cool. And so you've been working with us for some time, and could you tell us about your Arcanys team composition?
Sure. Yeah, as you mentioned, we've been working with Arcanys. Actually, just finished about 1 year. So we started with one engineer and now grow to four. I would say actually four and a half. So we have three full-time software engineers on both
Mhm.
front end and back end. We also have a one QA person on board, as well as support on the architect and integration, infrastructure integration side.
Cool. And can you tell us a bit why Arcanis? So, what kind of problem did we help you solve? And you mentioned that we started about just a bit more than a year ago. So, I'm not going to ask you when did it start, but kind of like how did it start?
So it's actually by referral. So we went through TechStar Accelerator program,
Oh, yeah.
and
Yeah.
the managing director of our program knows that they were a client of Arcanus in the past and really have a great things to say. Highly recommend Arcanus to us. So we started interaction more than a years ago, and we feel there's a good fit. So we started working on partnering with the firm. So the experience so far is really great.
Cool. So, um, besides you saying it's great and thank you, it's always good to hear that our clients are happy. So, besides doing great, how is your team doing so far? Maybe we could also I could also ask you like, what does your Arcanis team allow you to do in addition to that?
Yeah. So actually, as a startup, I think in for all size of companies, the most important activities or responsibilities as a leader or as a CEO is really talent recruitment.
Hmm. Yeah.
Well, in the Bay Area, especially for the last, I would say, 12 months, and that the war is still going on, so it's a talent war.
Yeah.
It's extremely difficult to find a qualified quality engineer, so in the U.S., let alone in the Bay Area. So we as a software company, we need to grow, we need to build product, so we need talents. And I think Arcanus gave us a great opportunity to tap in quality engineers or talents outside the US,
Yeah.
yeah, in Asia. So yeah, this is actually the first time we built a distributed team. The experience has been wonderful.
Cool. And so would you say that this you said it would allow you to find talents easier than in California because it's a talent war as you mentioned. So I think you can find good talent in California, but the price then is absolutely uh, maybe killing for a startup that has limited funding, like a lot of startups. And so would you say that it allows you to go also a lot further than you could with one great engineer instead of having like four or four and a half engineers for probably the same rate or maybe slightly more? I don't know what's the
Yes, obviously, Bay Area has command the highest salary compensations in the probably in the world, and it varies a lot. So when a company doesn't have a deep pocket or a big budget, so it's pretty challenging to build a product. So in using the talents or the workforce in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
So I think in this sense, it's not just Duet, our company, but I would say right now sitting in a co-working space. This is my office in a large co-working space, and we have probably a dozen companies right now coming into the office every single day because pandemic still residing. So all of them, I would say, all of them are having a distributed team. They're
Oh
in
yeah.
Asia, Europe, everywhere. So I have seen the attitude toward outsourcing or building distributed team has changed dramatically over the last 2 years in both the startup or the corporate environment as well as in the venture capital
Mm.
community.
Ah yeah.
People now view distributed team are more smarter, like view the companies are very prudent in terms of spending, whereas in the past they feel like that it's being perceived as unproductive. But now the attitude and the sentiment completely changed, and everybody realized there's definitely a great upside in having people in different parts of the world.
Yeah, because people saw that it was possible to work from home, right? So um, then it's possible to look further beyond that. Okay. And speaking of the team, how often you chat with them? Yeah.
Yeah, so we actually we do once a week team meetings. So this is a time we discuss the plans for the week and then track what we have accomplished
Mhm.
the last week as well as what the issues in hand. And then we do regular checkups. We heavily rely on Slack. So because we're a small team, as you know, like we are 5, 6 people team, and so far Slack is still a main communication
Yeah.
channel. So we can be on the ball all the time in terms of fixing, like answering each other's questions and keep things moving smoothly.
Yeah. And are you in touch directly with the team, or do you have on your side like a product owner or a lead developer? What's on your side, the team composition, and how do they interact with the Arcanys team?
Yeah, we right now actually I'm managing the team directly, but a few months ago, I do have a lead developers managing the team,
Uh-huh.
but I heavily involved in it because I'm on the product side, so we don't have a independent product person. So I oversee the product, so I need to be really involved in development as well, so to make sure the development meet the requirements and specifications are met.
Yeah. And well, I would in normal times I would ask you how often you come visit the team in the Philippines, but there's been a
Dude,
bit of a problem with the pandemic, right? But do you have plans coming, or what? How would you see the collaboration usually if everything was normal?
yeah, I would say it's not I mean I would love to come and visit. I've been looking various solutions. Right now it's just resource limitation. Resource means time, so travel takes a lot of time.
It does.
Yeah, and then also I would say it's obligation here. So it's really I'm tied up every day. I couldn't even like do a short trip in the Bay Area, so let alone
Yeah.
international travel. So, but I do feel if the if the parties doesn't have such a constraint, I have seen there's another company in my office. They have host uh, annual retreat like for
Oh, yeah.
a month. So they figure out what key features they want to build, and then they have this 1 month retreat. Everybody come to one like resort location, and then team building as well as work intensively together like a hackathon to build out like key products, because it is more productive when you have like people all together in the same
Yeah.
room
Yeah.
24/7 for months.
Yeah.
So that seems like work out really well for them. So I mean, once we get around with more resources, more time, we might look into this kind of
Oh
setup.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. And how would you say that the collaboration with Arcanis is impacting your business as a whole?
Yeah, well, it's tremendously for sure. Because we are a software company, we are a product company as well. So so far, I heavily rely on Arcanys team to build the product. So as you can see, they're instrumental. They are the driving force for us to make progress.
And do you think you could have achieved the same results with in-house developers?
Uh, An interesting question. Yeah, obviously, well, developer is developer, engineer is engineer. So I would say at this moment, my view is it doesn't matter where they are. It's really the trade-off of a trade-off of the different setups. So there's no one. I would say there's no one solution like fits everybody, right? So for us, what works really well is actually like we call the bang for the buck. So
Yeah.
we get the most value out of our limited resource, and then the current setup is really ideal for us. However, if there are definitely a lot of well-funded startups as well as companies are like doing really well, like just I mean Silicon Valley, all the FANGs here, and then they still most of them are still believe in in-house or in-person working relationships. Like all the companies are calling back their employees to the office, etc. So I mean, it really depends, right? So I think actually, I would say obviously because I right now I'm using distributed team. I want to highlight a couple of the valuable or upsides of using
Yeah.
distributed team. One is the cost is a big consideration, and then not only the cost but the productivity over the cost. I think the ratio is really good if you find quality engineers.
Yeah.
And then that's one. Second of all, it's really reduce the office politics, human resource burden. So that's I think people don't really like most. It's not obvious for a lot of people, but once you have everybody in the office, there yes, I think the productivity will be higher. However, there are also people issues, frictions, as
Yeah.
well as like just people issues we have to resolve. So that could be counter productive.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel having a distributed team working virtually, it really reduce that kind of issues or frictions. So that's one, and the third one is actually interesting to learn different cultures, to have this cross we call the cross pollination
Yes.
opportunities. Yeah, because we learned a lot from Arcanys team. I'm sure they also learned something,
Oh
hopefully,
yeah.
from us.
I'm sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, I think especially as a, I mean, I'm not sure this is specific to Arcanus, but the team works have experience from different countries, working with a different type of companies. So there's definitely some learnings,
Yeah.
cross pollination opportunities here, which could be very beneficial for us.
Cool. Yeah, that's true. It's interesting. I never really thought about the second point that you raised about the office politics.
Mhm.
That it could really improve maybe productivity and so on. So yeah, thanks for raising that point. I think it's very interesting and very valid. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you. I mean, thanks a lot. I don't have any more questions, Jing. But did you wanna add something that I haven't asked, or that you think people who are watching this would benefit from?
So I think so far there maybe say something I can share something up specifically about Arcanys. I worked with uh, dev shops in the past,
Oh, okay.
which couple of different flavors. I would say development agencies. Like one is completely how do I say it, project based.
Yeah,
So we have a specs and then threw it over the fence,
yeah,
and they will build a product
yeah,
according to the specs. And then others very morphosis as a like little bit hybrid. They assign engineers, and they but like the engineers can work on different projects, including
hmm,
the ones for us. So and then Arcanus, I think Arcanus is the model I personally prefer as a CEO. I prefer that model because it's a software, it's a more extended team model,
yeah,
whereas we get full time engineers or
yeah,
personnel on our project. So there's a continuity, there's
yeah,
a collaboration, there is also a kind of a team environment. I can family is probably not the best word, but it is like a company. You feel like you belong, the
yeah,
belongings, yeah, the community feel. So I think I like that. And in addition, another thing about Arcane is they do have also the not exactly ancillary, but I would say integral services. What does that mean? That there's a QA, so not just developers, but there's QA. Also, there's an architect. There are other project management. I think you guys also have designers. So
yes,
we didn't use designer, but I think you have that resources, and
yeah,
including customer support, training like users to use a product, etc.
yeah,
So I think actually that's a really good resource. It's like you have this toolbox for you to pick and choose which one fits your project or your company's needs.
yeah,
I think that's really good. Yeah, I'm also like I mentioned earlier, I myself is still learning about building this distributed team. So while I love to, if people are interested in working with Arcanys or learning about my experience in a little bit depth, like you are welcome to to contact me.
oh, that's great. Yeah, cool. Thank you so much. Yeah, yeah, that's much appreciated. And I'm sure I'll, if someone is asking, I'll also put them in touch with you. Or if you're seeing this video, you can contact Jing directly as well. Uh, cool. Uh, any other things you'd like to mention? It's been great so far. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, yeah, same here. I don't think I have any additional comments. So yeah, it's very nice to talk to. Well, first of all, good to see you again, Brad, and
Yeah,
it's really
yeah, yeah. Thank you, Jing. It's great. Yeah, thank you.
okay.